Thank you for being here in another edition of Entrepreneurs and Fuego when we're documenting the journey of entrepreneurs here throughout the Valley. It's a digital documentation via video, via audio, and with me, man, and without further ado, I've got myself just the queen of inspiration.
You're so kind.
Sharise. Sharise Erby, man. How you doing? How you
I
doing?
am absolutely wonderful.
Give me a kiss. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm phenomenal.
Tell us what you're doing. How inspire us a little bit. Here you
I
go.
am the president and CEO of the Phenomenal Woman Empowerment Network, and that is my nonprofit. And I am also the president and CEO of Go Tell It Communications and Publishing, which is a for-profit.
Yep.
I am an author. I've published 2 books. Just Do You, a raw look into womanhood, sisterhood, and relationships. And my newest book is Whole Women Win, Unleashing the Winner from Within.
Ooh.
And so I am absolutely in love with my most recent book, and it's available everywhere. And then I am an empowerment life coach. I'm a speaker, and I enjoy really reaching out to women and helping us unleash the winner from within us. Oftentimes we have residue that's left over from self-defeating behaviors. It could be from abuse that we've suffered. It could be from any type of adversity, and there's still a residue there. My job is to be a residue buster, and I come in and help women remove that residue so that they can launch into their stratosphere of success. My goal is to see every woman empowered, successful, living her best life and living her dreams. And
Amen.
so I do that by offering workshops quarterly.
Okay.
We have an annual Empowerment Women's Conference. I'm also a life coach, so I do one-on-one coaching, and we just really make it happen. I work with women one-on-one so that they excel. Now you got to talk to me, because I'll keep talking. I'll run away. That's what I do. I will talk all day long.
I want to make sure that you tell us exactly everything you do, because it is truly amazing, and you're empowering women, and you've got these 2 great books, and yours. What did you do? What I want to know is, what did you do before you actually decided to change women's lives?
I think it's always been a part of me. So let me quickly just say that entrepreneurship probably runs in my blood, because my mother was an entrepreneur.
Oh, really?
She was one of the first women in Arizona to have a fleet of yellow cabs. She was the owner-operator. She operated almost 20 yellow cabs.
I'll be darned.
And so when I was, 14, probably from the age of 13, till I was 19 or 20, I really helped her in that business. So even as a young person, I got to see the interactings of an entrepreneur, a business. So that's always been within me. And so my life took a lot of twists and turns. I was a single parent at 17. I graduated high school, but I thwarted my dreams of becoming an attorney because I decided to have a baby at 17. So I needed to work. I needed to take care of my baby. Around that same time, I was coming to the realization that the fact that I was molested at 5 had really overtaken my life, and I was making a lot of bad decisions. And so I had to come to terms with the fact that the molestation really changed my view of life and self-worth. I kind of felt like everything that was valuable within me had been taken away. It had been stripped away. So if everything within me had been stripped away, then I was just existing. I was just here. And that's why I was making bad choices. So after I had my son, I had to come to terms with the residue that I had from this molestation, and from watching my mother move from one bad marriage to another bad marriage. She's my hero, but she had really poor choices in men. And I was starting to emulate that same curse. I call them generational curses. And I was going down that same path.
So you had to break that cycle.
Absolutely. And so I went on to have another child out of wedlock. And then, a couple years after that, I had to say enough is enough. I'm following this cycle that I really don't want to follow. And so I made the decision to become abstinent for 7 years. And during that time, I really allowed God to speak to me and to speak to my heart. And I had to really look inside of me to see what was wrong with me. me, where my thought pattern was, why I was making the choices I was making, and then I had to make different choices. I had to do better. I had to break that cycle. I had to break it for my children.
Sure.
I had to break it for myself. And so, I bumped my head for a few more years, and I entered into a marriage, and I was married for 10 years, and that was a rough marriage. And it taught me a whole host of lessons, which is why I got 2 books.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I just have a quick question because I am fascinated by everything that you're saying. So, what would you say to women entrepreneurs, women that are feeling like you felt?
Yep.
And they may recognize the fact that they have this problem, this habit, this residue. What would you say to them? How to break the cycle? What is the first step that they have to?
The first step is you have to realize that you're in a cycle. A lot of times we don't realize that we're in a cycle. I had to realize and admit to myself that I was in a cycle,
Right.
and that I was tired of being in that cycle. I wanted more. So I was ready to make the change. See, a lot of times we want more, but we don't want to make the change. We don't want to do the hard work. We don't want to introspectively look to see what's going on within us. I talk about my 10-year marriage, that was a horrendous marriage. It was an abusive marriage.
Sure.
And my ex-husband knows this. We've talked about it, so it's not like I'm saying anything here that he doesn't know. It's in my first book. But here's what that marriage taught me. How did I make the choice to yoke up with this man and he was broken? Obviously, I was pretty broken to connect with another broken person and be willing to exist in a broken relationship for 10 years. So I could not lay the blame at his feet. I had to own my brokenness, and I had to look and fix what was broken in me, but I had to be willing. It takes a willingness. Sometimes we see it, but we're not willing to let go of it.
When did you realize that, okay, I am beginning to deal with this issue that I have with this residue, and I am doing whatever your procedures are to kind of get over that residue, to kill that residue,
Absolutely.
to just to excise that residue. And so when did you realize, hey, I'm doing it for myself, I can help other women?
October 2007. So I actually birthed
Amazing.
the Phenomenal Woman Empowerment Network in 2006. While I was still inside of that horrendous marriage, God started talking to me saying, wait a minute, there's a whole lot of people out there like you, because keep in mind, I'm a corporate girl. So I'm a corporate woman. I put on my mask every single day. I go into the corporate world and I shatter glass ceilings. I kill the game. I'm a licensed minister. I facilitate. I'm on the ministerial staff in my church, but I'm hiding behind this mask because really I'm broken. So in October of 2007, enough. I don't want to be broken. I don't want to live behind the mask. I don't want to be in an unhealthy relationship. My hair was falling out. My high blood pressure had shot up. I was on high blood pressure medication, and I wasn't even 40. I was in my 30s. And so I was having joint pain. I was walking with a cane. I was aging right before my eyes. And I said, enough is enough. I am not going to live another day in this situation. So I asked my ex-husband to move out. And let me just add, when I did this, I had zero income because I was just coming off a disability. But I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had to get rid of the residue. I had to make a change in my life. And that's what was paramount to me. And so I made the decision there. And you'll see it, and if you pick up my book, Whole Women Win, I talk about it. Mm-hmm. But I made the decision right then that I was going to break this cycle. I was going to get rid of the residue. I had broke the cycle many years earlier, but I was still dealing with the residue. I didn't understand that the residue was still there. And so I started dealing with that residue. And how did I start dealing with the residue? I made some tough choices. Who I was hanging around, who I was talking to, how I was spending my time. Health-wise, I changed the way that I was eating. I started exercising. I really started focusing on me and who I was and what I needed to be healthy.
What I'm hearing is that it's just not a specific
Absolutely.
Transformation. So it's not just, okay, I'm going to change my diet, I'm going to do it right, but it's a holistic.
It is holistic.
WHO.
Absolutely.
Transformation.
Absolutely. Mentally, intellectually, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. You have to become a good steward of your finances as well, because finances is one of the leading causes of a lot of stress, a lot of marriages that end. And so holistically, you
Yes.
have to come together in
Yes.
all of those areas and be able to get rid of that residue. So my business went to a whole nother level because I went to a whole nother level. And so a lot of what I teach is not necessarily straight from the book. It's straight from the streets because I lived it. I've had to work it out. I've had to deal with a lot of the things that I coach my clients on. I've had to walk it out in my life, literally.
You know, and that's what I respect about you, because you have the legitimacy and the authority
Absolutely.
to speak to others about this and that and abuse and how to get rid of the rest of it, because you lived it.
Absolutely.
You went through it.
Absolutely.
And that to me is much respect.
Thank you so very
What
much.
advice would you give, say, somebody that wants to start a business, an entrepreneur that wants to start a business and is facing all this bad residue, all this baggage, if you will? Is there a hope? Is there?
Absolutely, there's hope. But here's what I would say.
Yes.
So absolutely, there's hope. I'm a very charismatic person, but trust me, I'm educated. I have my master's in health administration, been in healthcare for 25 years. So I understand that part. But here's what I would tell that entrepreneur. I would tell that person, you have to deal with your residue. You got to deal with your personal issues. Because if you don't deal with yourself personally, your business will crumble. And we see that. I don't want to name names, but we see famous people. We have a spokesperson of a sandwich enterprise that recently fell, and he fell because of personal issues. So he was a millionaire, but that business crumbled because his personal life was not together. And so I would tell any entrepreneur that you deal with your personal life. Make sure your house is in order. Deal with each one of those areas, your mental, your emotional, physical, intellectual, spiritual, all of those components. And then once you've dealt with that part, then I would tell you to follow your dreams. Whatever your passion is, whatever that purpose is, I would tell you that you step out on faith and you follow that purpose. You start your business. I started my business with nothing because I had zero income, but I had drive, I had a mission, and I knew what I needed to do. I knew what I went through, and I knew that other women, they needed to know that somebody like me, which is like them, it's like looking at yourself in a mirror, that if I could do it, that they could do it. But they needed someone to support. They needed a midlife. They needed a residue buster to be able to help them. And that's what I'm here for. That's my purpose.
You are an ocean of hope and of inspiration, and that's why I love you, and that's why I'm going to give you a little gift.
I get a t-shirt. Let me have it. Let me have it.
Now, this is mine. I'm going to give you a nice clean one.
I would take it. Don't play with me because I'll put it on right here. I told you I'm down to earth, and so I would put this on right over my top.
This is a lot what you're talking about. It's about peaceful soul.
Absolutely.
And this is a lot of what our entrepreneurs are, common traits and common virtues are, which is simplicity, discipline, humility, kindness, and honesty.
Absolutely.
And this is for you, dear.
Thank you so very much.
And you're going to have to
put it on, so don't play with me. I guess I'll behave.
I love you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And
Thank you so much.
You're going to come back because I love you. I want you to give workshops here at the office pile, please.
I would love to. Absolutely. 100%.
You're so awesome.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, honey. I appreciate it. We're out.